Hello, Boris Pravisham here. Welcome to the Nidd Whitelist server. It's been a little while between drinks, hasn't it? It's because I've been having a bit of a problem with this game. Every time I think I'm getting somewhere, it quickly puts a stop to it. You'll notice the stuff laying on the ground, all that stuff with different colouring. There's more stuff on the ground, more stuff, explosions, then underneath here there's a whole bunch of stuff missing under that, stuff there, and no little Tina. I think it's been that long since I've recorded a video, so let's go right back to the start. I came down onto the planet, it was a disaster, lost everything, rebuilt it back up. Then I flew with Minty over here. Minty flew his ship first. I don't have a recording of that, but I do have a recording of the little Tina. I was bringing over some of the non-essentials. I was second over, bringing the stuff that Minty couldn't carry. And as I was flying, it froze for a couple of seconds. That's not the recording that does this. You'll see it in a second. It will freeze. That was the game. And then all of a sudden my ship dropped out of the sky. No idea why. It froze. It wasn't a save, because it had saved only a few minutes before that, and the save interval on this is about half an hour. It definitely wasn't that long. So all of that was gone, and Minty on his trip over as well, he crashed. That was due to pilot error, but he will blame it on the game. Well, more on the game's features, or lack thereof. He wanted something else to help him with that. So I then spent a good couple of hours, which I will time-lapse now, helping Minty pick stuff up, just going back and forward. We got it all into the thing. I then built up the base. However, to go back one more, I'll put a link to Anubis' episode in this one, because I lost the recording since Space Engineers caused my PC to blue screen, and it didn't finish the recording file properly. It didn't put the header on the AVI, and I can fix that. It will just take a fair amount of time and a lot of trial and error to get it. However, Anubiz already has an excellent episode of all that stuff where the planet disappeared. We had the Iron Mean, a moon-sized ball of iron. It's just nonsense. But then Keen released a hotfix, fixed that, but now connectors are so dangerous that we can't use them at all. The only way is, you'll see here, I just ran out of hydrogen, that was a good time. The only way is for large ships to have those the merge blocks and then onto the connectors. So it's essentially a station connected to a station. That's the only time that they work. If you even for a second, that's how this ship over here, the Chunky Charles III, Anubis was flying that, and it exploded. It wasn't his fault. He connected to the connector for a couple of seconds, and the connector and all of the stuff surrounding it exploded. That's all it took, was a couple of seconds. And a couple of days ago, see the quadrilla there? Well, that's an entirely new ship. I rebuilt it. Well, actually, I reconnected 2 bits of it with a merge block, because it had cut itself and it exploded. It fell into 2 pieces. Because I connected it up to a connector, which was over here at this point, connected it up, and the connector, it didn't explode, to, give it, credit where credit's due. It didn't explode. But the ship was shot up, and I wish I had recorded evidence of this, because its behavior I haven't seen since. It shot up, and then it shot left and right, all on the one plane, the same plane as the connector, but it sort of zigzagged all over the place. And then, basically, until it hit something, it hit one of the assemblers down here, that you can see. Everything that's that yellow color I had to rebuild, plus the extras on the end of it. It hit these assemblers. They all exploded, and then out popped all of the iron, and the iron flung this way, and the ship had an iron ball on it as well that pushed it this way, and it all exploded. And you think that wasn't the cause of all of this rebuilding, because there was a backup not long before, and we all agreed that because it was a bug that had caused so much damage and it destroyed all of the cargo containers, there was stuff everywhere, we decided to go back to the last backup because people hadn't done much stuff, so we just took the last backed up save. And then 2 hours later, the exact same thing happened. This time I connected the connector for a couple of seconds, just like Anubiz did, sunsetting. Just like Anubiz did today, just earlier when the Chunky Charles blew up. It was only a couple of seconds, and this time it flung up, then the connector exploded while I was in the air, and the Quadrilla, which is the drill ship, Minty's drill ship, was on its side, because the connector had kind of pulled it over. And then it crashed down, took out all of the refineries, all the stuff spilled out, made this big hole. At this point I wasn't recording anything. This was in my... I decided to take a little break from the game because of all these little frustrating things. This isn't even the end of it. I've left out a whole bunch of little things, like just rebuilding connectors over and over and over again, and just, you know, all the little things that really take the enjoyment out of the game. So yeah, I rebuilt all this because we couldn't take a backup, like a saved backup that time. People had done stuff. Rebuilt all that and picked everything up. You'll notice some things that are still lying around. It was actually... I wish I had my jetpack. Somewhere over here is a bit of uranium. There it is. So this is the stuff, it just popped out of one of the reactors. And this is another annoying little bug. It's really annoying for others, less so than me, and the reason is because I'm an admin, so I can't pick this up. Any ingot or ore that comes out of a cargo container or any storage vessel at the moment cannot be picked up. I think I've got my helmet on. I do. However, oops, if you're an admin, you can turn on the creative mode tools, which I only use for, you know, cleaning up. This is the only way at the moment to get hold of it, and that's what I did for Minty when the stuff all spilled out of the cargo container. We can restart the server as well. It's just that there's more often than not someone on it, so we tend to not restart very often, maybe every couple of days or so, as the game runs better. And it used to be that when you cut and then... I should get out of creative mode. When you cut and then paste it, obviously that one disappeared, but now it doesn't even cut away, so... You know, I'm kind of doubling my stuff. I'm not cheating, by the way. Like, if I do that, and I do it for other people as well. I do it for Minty quite often when cargo containers break, that kind of thing. I do clean that back up and remove it on the next server restart. I don't double up on stuff. Not that little amount of... it's actually not that little, is it? not that we are in need of uranium at the moment, but yeah, I will remove that the next time. There are the legs off the back that popped off. And, well, I'm not done yet, because another problem that has come to the fore in recent times is overheating, which is really annoying given that it's summer here at the moment, and in the tropical heat I often have problems with my PC overheating. I've spent a lot of money getting it to not overheat, but even with, you know, liquid cooling and an array of fans and all of that kind of thing, you know, keeping it clean, all of the normal stuff. Even with all of that, there are, you know, days where I just can't play, which is fine. However, it doesn't help when Space Engineers now, for me, is overheating my GPU. It's not something... I know a lot of people have had this kind of trouble before, but it's not something I've had until now. I turn on the game, like now, it's quite hot. It's thankfully... I'm doing this quite late at night, so it's quite cool as it is. I've probably got fan noise in the background because I've got to have the fans on my PC turned right up just to cope with it at the moment. And it got to the point where... today I logged in, and as soon as I hit the respawn button, like the instant I hit the respawn button, the fan on the bottom of my PSU, thankfully it wasn't part of the PSU, because I'm not game to open it up and fix it. It was within... I've got a slightly odd one. It's within the case, so you can take the case off, but there's also an inner case of all of the stuff that you don't open, you know, for fear of electrocution, all that kind of thing. And then there's a fan just beneath that for a bottom vent on my case. And So thankfully I was able to replace that. I do have 3 spare fans, because fans are something that do, you know, my PC now is, well, it's been upgraded quite a lot, but I bought it back in 2010, so it's getting quite old, and the fans are that old, and they've worked a really hard life. I know I'm not doing anything at the moment, it's just because I don't know what to do, because connectors don't work. So I'll work that out once I've finished talking. I'm almost done. Yeah, so I do have some fans to keep, but as soon as I click that respawn button, that fan just suddenly took off. Well, all of them do. As soon as you come into this, they go crazy. And then, yeah, that PSU one just suddenly started to grind, whir. You could see it was all off balance, and yeah, so I spent a good, you know, couple of hours pulling it all out and replacing it and cleaning everything out while I was there and putting it back together. And I'm not going to blame Space Engineers for that one fan. It is a 6-year-old fan. It's worked a hard life, but it happened the instant I click spawn. So not only has this game caused me virtual frustrations, but it's also played a key part in rendering some of my hardware obsolete now too. That's fun. So if you're wondering why I haven't released an episode for a little while, it's because this game has not been in my good books. So I'm going to stop talking and complaining right now, and I'm going to find something to do. I don't know what it is yet, but I am. I've still not decided what I'm going to do, but Anubiz needs help to weld up a whole bunch of stuff, so I'm going to go help him grind, and I'll show you a time-lapse of that, and hopefully we'll finish it so we can show off what he's done.
Please don't explode.
No, it got the bounce out of its system.
Nope,
no, it didn't. It definitely did not. Well, there goes the door. For a second there I thought everything was clear. Were you recording at least?
Yep.
Well, I just did a 12-minute rant to start the video, so this fits my episode. So that was interesting. We worked out that it was maybe about 30 to 40,000 steel plates that we lost in that process. I just helped Anubiz put back a little bit, and then we ran out of steel plates, so we didn't finish that bit. The problem was probably the fact that we used both of the rotors at once. In fact, I know this. Like, every time I've done a double rotor thing, it's always been one rotor is the master and one is the slave. The slave one, you have just no torque, no brake torque, nothing on it. It just acts as a freewheel. And the other one does all of the work. However, I just wasn't thinking. I was just going along. I figured Anubis had it all worked out, but it kind of sounded like he was listening to me, so we were each following each other. And yeah, I just told him to put in the numbers so that they both, were the right way for each other. One was 0 degrees negative 90, the other was 0 and 90. But putting that in meant that they kind of fought each other. They were both trying to move at the same time, both trying to adjust. And I'm assuming what the problem was is that one tried to turn even, that half a degree just to match that 0 degrees because it was a little tiny bit past it. That little tiny turn fought against the other one and it all exploded, although it could be something completely different. That's just what I assume caused it. But yeah, I knew that you couldn't have both working at the same time, and I think Anubis did as well. In his creative world, that's what he was using, one as master and one as slave. And yeah, that little mistake cost all of this. Although, really, expecting people to know this unexpected, weird behavior of physics items in Space Engineers is a little bit annoying. The fact that we need to know these completely unadvertised quirks or else suffer catastrophic failure is just another one to add to the list of things in my ranting this episode. I still don't really know what I'm going to do. However, Anubis has sent me a picture of a general theme. I'm not going to show it on screen because I don't know who owns it. Like copyright-wise, Anubis just sort of showed me a link to it. It was kind of a city underground, a subterranean city. And we're not going to build a city, like an entirely large city, but we're also not going to build one massive room inside the hole that's down there. In fact, I'm going to cut to that hole right now. So here we are going down the hole. Here's the drill ship that I used to drill it out. However, on the way back, it got caught on the side and exploded, but it's alright, that was a one-time use thing. So we're just going to work on drilling it, grinding it down. Here's the one. I've actually got a little bit of footage of this one happening, of drilling down from the top. It's probably not very good time-lapse footage because it was so shaky, but it means now that we've got a hole that goes all the way to the surface. You can see the tiny little thing up there, and Anubis actually went a little bit too far down, and the plan is, from that direction, it's actually straight across here. So we come down a little bit from the start up there. You can see it's actually quite a fair drop, and I'm wondering if that was a mistake now. Perhaps we should have gone straight across there, so that it was level with that side as opposed to level with this side. But it's what we've done, so we've got to live with it now. So yeah, we go straight across there, and that's that temporary platform that I showed you at the start, just to get your bearings. And in here is where we're going to make the main base, this subterranean lair of ours. And yeah, rather than sort of encasing the walls and making this one room, or even just using the walls, like the stone as walls, it looks like Anubis wants to make like an underground city, or it's probably more of a town scale. We're not going to build massive things. It's not going to be a massive area, but just little buildings all sort of scattered around with transport links, conveyor links, that kind of thing. See if we can't. I'm sure at some point someone will make a ferry that goes back and forward. And we'll see what it looks like. like, I don't have the picture in my head. I normally have a picture in my head when I start building, but this is Anubis' picture in his head. So I don't know if I should start. But if I don't, then I don't really have anything to do. Perhaps I should work on... See, the annoying thing is I've spent the last 2 weeks building things that I've already built before, which I don't want to put on camera, because the last few episodes have been me doing the same thing over and over and over again. I don't want to keep doing that, but the game has made me build the same things over and over and over again, because they keep going wrong. So I'm half tempted just to get everything back to where I was, get another little Tina, get the boosters working and filled up, get the big contraption that will move anything from being horizontal to vertical for a takeoff. Perhaps I could work on a landing pad, but I don't know where to put the landing pad until we've got stuff in here. So maybe I just have to wait for Anubis. I don't know. But I know that, these kind of planning episodes aren't really the best thing to watch, so I'm going to wrap it up here. Sorry for that. It's just, things haven't been great in the game lately. This is just to say that I'm still here, still trying, still working on things. We'll see what happens, and if this episode isn't already too long, I'll either end here, in which case, goodbye, otherwise, here's the next thing.
Is everybody ready?
We're making an inside cave.
Yeah.
This is engineering. At
so
its best.
I'm taking the ones on the right.
Okay, so Minty, you shoot the ones on the left. Boris shoots the one on the right. I'll shoot the ones in the middle.
We're gonna count down.
3, 2, 1.
Wait.
Missiles!
Oh, no.
They all went off. Oh, we put a big hole in the floor.
What's that cube up there? What's that? What's going on up there?
That's for the building that has the basement.
Is that Apple's toilet?
What?
Oh, no.
There was a warhead attached to it.
Oh, right, I see.
In fact, it kind of looks like the warhead was destroyed and didn't blow up. There's no...
Yeah, it did. Do you reckon they all blew up?
Am I walking on air to you?
No.
Oh, I'm in the world.
No,
I'm in the world. I can't get back
Boris
out.
has become one with the planet.
I'm inside. Well, this is fun.
So is that the end of that?
Oops.
Is that the end of that episode?
Goodbye, everybody.
Yeah, goodbye. I'm dead and I'm falling into the center of the planet. I just wanted to show you this. Here's a bit of the door. This is how far it blew away. Oh, by the way, I put a thing on Anubis' door just to, cheer him up.